Good morning, students. We are back with social studies and we are studying chapter 3, Ancient Towns and Scriptures. Till now, we have completed all the things regarding ancient towns, and in today's video, we'll be studying about scriptures. Now, what did we study about ancient towns? We studied about Harappan civilization or the Indus Valley civilization, like the town planning during that time or the major cities during that time, and what they had, what were the characteristics or their important feature. Like Mohenjo-daro had a public bath, Harappa had its granary, and Lothal for its dockyard, Dholavira for rainwater harvesting system or its stadium, plus it had a trilateral. It was divided into three parts. And Kalibangan town for its agricultural revolution. After that, we studied about the life of the people in Harappan civilization. We'll do a detailed recap about the life of the people. Okay? We started with the economic life in Harappan civilization. Economic life, what were the activities through which they earned their living? People of Indus Valley civilization were engaged in various economic activities like agriculture, livestock rearing, trade, and silk industry. They were engaged in internal as well as international trade, and during that time, cotton from Harappan civilization was exported to Mesopotamia and even Egypt via Mesopotamia. And in addition, they were engaged in professions like pottery, metalwork, bead making, sculpture, etc. The social life of the Harappan civilization. In social life, we studied about their food, clothing, ornaments, and what kind of utensils and toys they used to make. Regarding food, we studied that they used to have wheat, barley, millet, peas, sesame, date palms, etc. And as they were indulged in cattle rearing, their diet consisted of milk and milk products also. Besides, they also must have included fish in their diet. About their clothing, men and women wore two clothes. They wore clothes similar to dhoti on their vest, and in their upper part they wrapped a short cloth which came down from the shoulder. They mainly used cotton clothes, but woolen clothes were also found. And mostly they wore unstitched clothes, but as needles made of metal and ivory have been found, we can assume that they wore stitched clothes as well. And ornaments. Ornaments like necklace, ring and finger, hand bracelets were worn by women as well as men. Besides this, women wore some additional jewelry like bangles, earrings, waist belt, anklets, etc. And these ornaments were made of gold, silver and precious stones. About the utensils of Indus Valley civilization, they were made of earthenware, copper, bronze, etc. And at that time they had utensils like mug, bowl, earthen mug, metallic pot, saucer, casserole, etc. About the toys. The toys for children were of various kinds, like there were bird-shaped whistles, rattlers, carriages, carts, marbles, toys in shape of birds, animals, and men and women, and toys like head-shaking animals and monkey climbing tree were also found. The religious life and funeral. Regarding religious life, we can find from the idols and postures that were excavated. And these idols, there was an idol of Matrika Devi, which is considered the symbol of Mother Earth. Harappan civilization people may have been worshipping Mother Earth, especially as it gives grains and water. They were also found worshipping trees, animals, Nag Devta, Swastik, etc. Remains of worshipping fire have been found from Lothal and Kalibangan. About the funeral. People of Harappan civilization might have been burning dead people because evidence of Agni Sanskar have been found at many places. They also buried dead person and kept some of the things with the dead body. It tells about their imagination that there is life after death. The script and language. Coins, seals, copper plates have been found, but we are not able to understand their language. It's still unresolved, mysterious language for us. And lots of attempts have been made to decipher the script, but it has not yet been successful. Places of Harappan civilization in Gujarat. We just have to name them like Rangpur and Lothal in Ahmedabad district, Rojri or Srinathgarh in Rajkot district, Desalpur in Kutch district, Dholavira, Surkotada, Lakhbawal in Jamnagar district, Amra Bhaktala on the bank of Kim river in Bharuch district. And at last, the end of Harappan civilization. Historians believe that Harappan civilization may have ended because of earthquake, flood, epidemic or external invasion. We still do not know which was the exact cause for the end of Harappan civilization. Now we'll study about our ancient texts. Our ancient texts. Texts, books which have knowledge, which give us knowledge. Four Vedas. There are four Vedas. Vedas means sacred knowledge. The actual word is Ved. But in English, as Yog becomes Yoga, Ram becomes Rama, Shiv becomes Shiva, um, that way the word becomes Veda. So the four Vedas are Rigved, Yajurved, Samved and Atharvaved. All these four Ved give information, give knowledge about different things. Let's study about Rigved, which is the oldest text in history. Rigved and its study. Rigved is our oldest text. It includes 1028 hymns which are called suktas. Suktas mean well spoken and hymns are religious song or poem of praise to God. So they are like mantras or japs. So there are 1028 hymns in Rigved. It is written in Old Sanskrit or Vedic Sanskrit language. Vedic Sanskrit, like Sanskrit which is found in the Vedas. So, or the Old Sanskrit and New Sanskrit. New Sanskrit is the language which is found in, which was written by Valmiki or um, Vedvyas for writing Mahabharata or Ramayana. But the old Sanskrit or the Vedic Sanskrit is the Sanskrit which is written, which was used in writing the Vedas. So it is written in old Sanskrit, and with the help of Rig Ved, we get information about political, social, economic and religious life of Aryans. Now, we are not given detailed information about the Aryans, but initially when we were taught, it was like Aryans were the people who came from outside and they settled in the northern regions of India. So India consisted of mainly Aryans and Dravidians. So Aryans, the people of North India, and Dravidians, the people of South India. So it gave information about the life of Aryans. And some of the hymns of Rig Veda are in dialogue form. You know dialogue. Dialogues are when a conversation between two people. There are references of life of common men in Rigved. There are references of political institutions like Gan, Sabha and Samiti. Sabha was a smaller institution as compared to Samiti. Head of the state sat in it and discussed important issues of the state and gave justice. The Samiti was an elaborate body that elected the king. Army chief and priest were appointed to assist the king. One of the work of king was Gaveshna. Gaveshna means war. From Rig Veda, we get reference of battles between 10 kings on the banks of Ravi river. So the political institution mostly consisted of Garn, Sabha and Samiti. Garn is the body of attendants, and above that there was Sabha, um, which was smaller than Samiti, and the head of the state sat in it. They discussed important issues of the state and gave justice, like if there were some internal conflicts or whatever the disputes aroused in that particular state, that particular region, the head of the state gave justice to that matter. Samiti. Samiti was elaborate. It was like done or made very carefully body of people. The work of Samiti was to elect the king. You know what is election? There is difference between election and selection, or just where there is a fixed hierarchy. So the Samiti elected the king and they appointed army chief and priest to assist the king. And then there was king whose main work was Gaveshna. That means to fight with kings of other regions and expand their region, so or expand their resources. And from Rig Veda, we also get reference of battles between 10 kings on the banks of Ravi river. Rig Veda provides us information about social life of the Aryans. One of the unit of society was family, and family system was patriarchal, and it was also joint family system. Patriarchal means the male or the father of the family is the head of the family, and there was joint family system. Society was not divided into castes and races. Currently we have that caste system, but at that time there was no division of the society as per castes and races. So all were equal in the society. There was no discrimination of high and low status. Women had high status in society. Feminism was there and women were considered as co-workers and their presence in yagna was essential. Feminism means that men and women are treated equally. They have that equal social, economic and political rights. So feminism was there and their presence in yagna was essential. Yagna means that worship with fire. So where the kings or the Brahmins do all the mantras and special offering is done to gods to get their grace. So even the presence of female was essential in yagna. They could also study. Currently, there are many parts of India where women are not given equal opportunity as men to study. That's why government has come up with various programs like Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao. But even at that time, women were given the rights to study, and among them, Apala, Lopamudra, Ghosha, etc. created richas of Rigveda. Richa or Rucha are like shlokas of 4 lines, so which are part of hymns. So they created richas in Rigved, and girls got married only when they were adults, when they grew up and when they can decide for themselves. The girls were even given the right to Swayamvar, where they can select their life partner by themselves. They can choose from the given males. Mention of worship of nature is found in the Rig Veda. Worshipping of Indra, Varun, Agni, Surya, etc. is mentioned in Rig Veda. Indra is god of rain and thunderstorms. Varun is the god of wind. Agni, the fire god, and Surya, the sun god. So these all the elements of nature were considered as god. And there is mention of Usha as the goddess of morning and Aditi as the goddess of evening. Cows, horses, and bulls have been discussed at many places in Rig Veda. As compared to other animals, horses have been mentioned more times, which indicates importance of pastoralism in their lives. Is a form of animal husbandry where domesticated animals, known as livestock, are released onto large outdoor lands or pastures for grazing. Nowadays, as we see bharwads, as they take their animals for grazing on open land. So at that time, pastoralism was very important. It was common among the tribals to fight for animals. The tribal people commonly fought for animals. Property was mainly decided on the basis of number of cattle. Property, the capital. Nowadays, property is decided by the type of house you live in, the number of vehicles you have, the accessories you have. But at that time, it was considered on the basis of number of cattle, how many animals a person possessed. Animal husbandry was done collectively and agriculture was secondary in the early stages of Rigvedic age. Compared to agriculture, animal husbandry was more important. So animal husbandry was primary and agricultural was secondary in the Rigvedic age. With this, chapter 3, Ancient Towns and Scripture gets over. Students, this information is really useful for all the people. Those who live in India, they should know about it. And Harappan civilization is one of the oldest civilization of the world. So it gives us lots of knowledge about the people of that time, what they knew, and what kind of system they followed, which we can learn from them and even implement nowadays. We get various knowledge about the people and the governing body from the Rig Veda. Along with Rig Veda, there are various, the other three Ved also give us lots of information and guidance. So you should be happy to learn all these things and keep this in your heart forever. So that's it with Unit 3 and we'll be doing its exercises in the next video.